Trying Joseph in the first trial, they tried him under the law of parties, and I'm sure you're familiar with that. The jury did find him guilty under the law of parties, which you can understand after reading the law of parties, but they could not, they hung up in the punishment phase. They said that they could not send a person to prison for life, nor give them the death penalty if they had not been the actual killer. So that was declared a mistrial. Ironically, just a few months after that verdict, I think it was the 1st of September of that year, the law came into being that in a life or death situation, in the case of a hung jury, the defendant would be given the lesser sentence, which would have been a life sentence. We were told at that time by the attorneys that were representing him that they had asked that law be made retroactive to Joseph's case, and we were later to find out that that was not true. They had not asked that question, so just a lot of things that you learn as you go along that if you had known prior, you maybe could have helped more or would have known better things to do. Being a lay person, as most people would be, you just don't know. You believe in the justice system, and soon you get a very bad taste in your mouth for the justice system. We were later to learn that that Joseph could have asked that the attorneys be removed from his case when it was seen that they were not representing him properly. That questions should have been raised that were not raised, that objections should have been raised that were not raised. And it even goes so far as to the judge that presided in both trials. Leads you to believe, how could someone sitting on the bench allow such things to happen? But he did. If you ever have the occasion to just go down and sit in on a capital murder trial in Harris County, let me stipulate that. There were a lot of things that you will see go on there that you will never witness in any other state in the union that has the death penalty on the books. It is quite scary.
Do you want to talk about what some of those things are that you witnessed, or talk a little bit more about that?
Well, the mockery that the prosecution made of the various people that were very credible witnesses in Joseph's trial, witness to his character and the kind of person that he was, the kind of young man that he was, his high school football athletic coach from both schools, from Madison High School and from Clear Creek High School, where he ultimately was the last school that he attended. The many scholarships that he was offered from the very large colleges in the nation just for him to come and play ball for them. Things of that nature. That was, in my opinion, slight remarks were made about that. Remarks were made about how many family members sat in court each day. And usually there would be 50 or more family members in court every time he was in the courtroom. Well, if you just peruse the courtrooms, most times the defendant is there by themselves. So I guess they found that most unusual that we were there. At one point, I remember the prosecution even saying, look at how many family members sit here every day. Why aren't they out working? I guess they're out stealing too. And things like that were allowed to be said. Wow. It just gives you a really jolt as to what does go on in court when it's supposedly or under the skies of justice. Mm-hmm. You, as a parent, blame yourself a lot because you said, if I had known this, I probably would have did this. His dad and I sat there just like most other parents, I'm sure, not knowing what to do or how to do and relying on attorneys which is so far wrong. I will tell anyone, if you're in that ballpark, try to research all you can about the attorneys that are representing you, and just the justice system and their track record that you are being subjected to. We sat and watched them make different innuendos about Joseph being from a biracial family, and he was not. Joseph's dad is of Louisiana Creole descent and is blonde and looked like you do, what's left of his hair. We went to high school together, and we married young right out of high school.
Where did you grow up?